5 on the season as the tap is won back by North Texas. And UAB coming in at 22-5, and North Texas 15-11 on the season. Terriel Bradley has it for the Mean Green. She's been just fantastic. Third leading scorer in the league. Tries to dump it back to Buckner on the pick and roll. It's through her hand and out of bounds. And that gives it back to the UAB Blazers for the first time tonight. UAB, the second leading scoring team in the conference at 73.4 a game, and they do it a lot from the outside, Kyle.
Yeah, definitely so, and they do it a lot in transition as well, slowing it down here early on, but they're a transition team that on the fast break likes to get it out into the hands of their shooters. Catch and shoot is really the mantra for this UAB squad.
Grace Goodhart tried to throw it over to Bradley, but had it knocked back into her face. UAB early on in a man-on-man defense against North Texas.
And they'll play an aggressive one. They'll sometimes switch to that 2-3 zone. One matchup I'm really looking forward to watching is Buckner versus Rawls down low, the two posts for both teams. They're going to be an athletic couple to watch.
Barnes knocks it away, feeds Kuzmanik up the floor for the first 2 points of the night, and Kuzmanik is coming off the best game in her entire career last time out.
Yeah, she is definitely turned things on. Last time against North Texas, though, only 5 points is in that first matchup earlier in January.
Yeah, North Texas has handled her pretty well.
Yeah.
Only 5 points a game by Kuzmanik over the last 3 matchups, but last time out she came up with 35 points. It was a disappointing loss for UAB last time out against Louisiana Tech. In fact, North Texas also had a disappointing home loss last time out.
Yeah, losing to Marshall back this past weekend, definitely not what North Texas was looking forward to. Had a chance to mark their highest win streak of the entire season and get back to 500 in conference play. They were unable to do so, and the Thundering Herd were able to sneak up on the Mean Green.
Look at that roll going down for Rachel Childress. She'd been in a little bit of a slump over her last 3 games, but that's her 87th three of the season as she chases the all-time UAB single-season mark for threes.
And she is a bona fide sniper for the Blazers. Be on the lookout for her. She has been unbelievable from beyond the arc.
Terriel Bradley drives inside but misses the shot, and Cara Rawls comes up with the rebound for the Blazers, who, like you say, they try to push it in transition, get you out of position. Kuzmanik going up and just losing it out of bounds. Buckner tried to take the charge, but the contact is allowed on both sides. So a good start for UAB early. Like we said in the open, they have been great on the road this season. I think that's the most impressive part of their mark this season. Yeah, 22-5 is wonderful, but 9-1 in true road games, that's marvelous.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. And you got to credit the coaching staff. That's looking at a different, I guess, just routine every time that you are on the road, being able to get your team to play at the highest level each and every time you're away from home. That's a harder thing than it sounds like to do, and on a consistent basis, it makes it that much more impressive.
It's a second turnover of the night for the Mean Green, both of them by Michaela Buckner. And Buckner had a mismatch. She was going to the hole against Childress, had the right switch, just couldn't handle the pass. And Kuzmanik coming off her huge game, following it up with 4 early points tonight. It's 7-0 UAB.
Talk about Childress on a slump. Kuzmanik's been able to kind of pick up that slack from the top scorer on the, at least on the roster for UAB, and she's definitely started off quickly here. North Texas needs a bucket, 0 from 4 from the field.
Badly. Terriel Bradley tries to do the honors, lost it inside against Vendrell, gains it back but misses the shot. Buckner tries to go back up, and on the floor, she's held and fouled. It's Angela Vendrell, the Spaniard, picking up her first. Just another sophomore in the starting lineup for UAB. The Blazers are incredibly young.
Yeah, they're young. So is North Texas. Both of these teams are going to be something to reckon with in the next couple of years in the Conference USA. Beautiful feed underneath.
They've been trying to feed Michaela Buckner early, and finally she's gotten one to go to make it 7-2. Here's another star in the offense for UAB, Maya Barnes, passed up on a 3. Instead, Childress will take the lean in and follows her own shot. It didn't hit the rim, so the shot clock's still running, down to 12. Rawls with the hook, but that's way short, and Grace Goodhart comes out with it. Rawls trying to go back after her own miss is called for the foul.
And that's another thing that this UAB squad does well. They are very disciplined on the offensive boards. As soon as they put a shot up, they're going to go back and they're going to fight for a rebound, even whenever it's Rachel Childress, who's one of the best three-point shooters in the entire Conference USA. On the scouting report says follows shots well. She's going to go in and get a rebound. She's already got one here in the first quarter of this one, and then of course UAB is going to be in the vicinity at any point trying to pull down a board.
Well, UAB this season is 19-1 when out-rebounding opponents. Their first loss of the season when out-rebounding an opponent came last time out, the 10-point loss to Louisiana Tech. Smith into the lane for North Texas, and she banks it home.
That is Smith's bread and butter. If she gets an open lane, she's going to take it every single time, and being able to kiss it off the glass makes it look that much more impressive. Just a nice take there from Smith.
Amani Johnson, number 34 in the game for the first time for UAB, but Childress does the honors from deep.
With a hand in the face as well. She was not afraid. She was taking that shot as soon as she got it in her hands. Didn't take long for her to release that one. Such a quick release from Childress.
Already 2 for 2 from deep, and then Maya Barnes slaps it away and out of bounds. It stays with the Mean Green. UAB quickly another substitution inside the post as Amani Johnson, or rather Rawls, hits the bench for the first time. And in for the first time is Caitlin Thomas, who had a monstrous game against the Mean Green the first time the two teams matched up.
22 points. It tied her career high, and then man, she has been outstanding underneath. Didn't have any rebounds in that game, though, but was 11 of 11 from the field in that ball game. An outstanding night for Thomas.
Trina Mims takes it to the rack and is rewarded with some foul shots coming as Rachel Childress is whistled for her first.
North Texas against Marshall in that loss this past weekend hit 11 of their first 12 free throws, but down the stretch, whenever they were trailing by 4, missed 4 consecutive. That really put the North Texas Mean Green in a hole against the Thundering Herd whenever they were trying to come back from a deficit when they were once down by 16. So if North Texas can convert from the free throw line, they'll at least be able to keep it close here with UAB, especially in the first half.
Trina Mims goes 2 for 2 at the line. Mims, a freshman who has been a regular starter for the Mean Green, but in a slump, averaging under 3 points a game over her last 7. UAB leading by 4 as Mims takes it away out front. The jump ball stays with UAB, but it also brings us to a timeout. So a couple early threes by Rachel Childress. UAB leading North Texas 10-6, only 2 games left in the regular season. UAB keeps it after Trina Mims had tied up the Blazers on the last possession.
And we were talking about Mims kind of struggling, at least in terms of offensive output, as there's a big foul on the UAB end of the floor.
Yeah, Childress will have 3 foul shots. Wow. Smith was right there on the release.
But talking about Mims tying up that one ball just before the media timeout, and what she's been able to do in terms of not necessarily producing on offense, she's been one of the best on-ball defenders on the top scoring defense in the entire conference and number 11 in the entire NCAA. So definitely Mims, one of the best defenders in the entire country if you look at the numbers and what she brings to the table on the defensive side of the ball.
Speaking of defense, there's another one. Lauren Holmes, another freshman who is really playing well defensively for the Mean Green this year, has found a home here in Denton, is doing a great job as Rachel Childress knocks down all 3 free throws. Great start for Childress. She has 9 of the 13 points for UAB.
No surprise there. Childress just an outstanding shooter. She's going to make the freebies.
UAB goes into a zone, and a nice job by Caitlin Thomas to steal it away in the post. Another 3-ball by Childress. This one rolls off, though, and North Texas tries to attack in transition.
North Texas has yet to attempt a 3-point shot. They've been much better at shooting the threes over the last couple of games.
Mims looking for a high screen. Finds Buckner inside, and Buckner puts it in for 2.
Why try to attempt the threes whenever you have Buckner on the low block? Great pass underneath, went over the top of the UAB defense, and Buckner just had to reel that one in, and it was a wide open, easy look at the hoop.
Caitlin Thomas has to go to her left hand, and she scores it. She's now 12 of 12 against the Mean Green from the field this season.
Doesn't miss. Money every time, and she's going to get a turnover on the other end.
Trina Mims says, that was my fault. Maya Barnes, so speedy, one of the fastest players in the conference, misses on the shot, and the rebound goes off of UAB to keep it with North Texas. Blazers are very deep. They've been churning through the roster already in this first quarter, while North Texas has only made a substitution or two. There's Adriana Henderson in for the first time for North Texas as Terrielle Bradley takes a seat. Henderson starting to come into her own for the Mean Green over the last few games.
Yeah, she's been great on both ends of the floor for North Texas. Jaylee Mitchell being able to add Henderson, who's only a sophomore, and get her more playing time, over 9 points per game over her last 6. And then that was a 3.3 mark in her previous 20 games. She has definitely come alive lately.
Mitchell said she thinks it was kind of past time for Henderson to start to produce, and finally Henderson is doing that in her sophomore year as Holmes comes away with the offensive rebound, and North Texas will keep it as well.
Holmes just an all-around athlete, a track star, multi-state champion whenever she was in high school. Now coming to the college basketball ranks, she had an outstanding block against Marshall the other day with really Marshall out in front of the pack. She tracked down the ball handler and was able to block Shayna Gore at the hoop to really keep North Texas within striking distance.
Well, the officials, Marcus Clayton says, yeah, let's look at this one. And they're going to see who it went off of on the baseline, whether it be Holmes or a green shirt of the UAB Blazers, with UAB up here by 7. So North Texas coming in 15-11. 9-5 at home this season. They got off to a rip-roaring start at home this year, and it was because of their defense. We get a look at the replay. A lot of hands on that one. And just depends on whether it went off of Vendrell or not. Vendrell tried to reach in.
Yeah, you can't really get a great look from that underneath the bucket shot. Definitely Holmes had possession of it, and it looks like off screen. It looked like Holmes may have been the last one to touch it. We'll get a better look here, though. Off of Holmes' hand there. She brings it back down, and then there's the reach around. It's whether or not she got a hand on it. Yeah, I think you're exactly right.
And the initial indication was North Texas basketball, so that will help North Texas in their case here, but I don't know if the video really helps North Texas at all.
Yeah, not necessarily. It's going to be, or it has to be inconclusive video evidence to turn this over. This might be the best look in whether or not
a lot of
UAB got a hand on it. Yeah.
Well, we'll see what the officials do, but
and I feel like the official on the baseline there may have had the best look at it.
Our officiating crew, Marcus Clayton, Travis Jones, and Kelly Murray Broomfield. They like it. Just keep with North Texas. They didn't see anything that would turn that over. North Texas is built on defense, though. You said it.
Oh, yeah.
They did a great job their first 9 home games of the year, only giving up 45 points a game at home. But over their last 5, they're giving up 64 points per game. They've been playing some tougher teams, but Mean Green trying to turn that around as Henderson tries the first 3 of the evening for North Texas, but comes up short.
UAB left her wide open. Henderson hesitated initially, but decided to pull the trigger.
Nice job by Buckner to block the left-handed shot. Henderson, really good in transition. She has excellent handles.
Saw the stutter step there.
The Mean Green fade into the half-court offense. Mims a little bit strong on the layup attempt, and Thomas clears the board.
That's one thing that UAB has definitely been able to take advantage of so far, is taking those defensive rebounds whenever they get a chance.
Thomas right back to scoring against the Mean Green, puts it in with her left hand. You know, had 11 points against, or was 11 of 11 for 22 against the Mean Green the first time the two teams matched up. The best game in NCAA Division I this season for perfection is 12 of 12. So Thomas was 1 off of that in that matchup in January.
Well, she's 2 of 2 again, or 2 of 3 today. So now a combined number of 13 for 14 from the field against North Texas.
Henderson a creative drive, but Deanna Kuzmanik whistled for the foul. It's team foul number 4 on the Blazers, so North Texas has an opportunity to make up for it at the line.
Yeah, they have not scored in the past 2 minutes and 11 seconds, so North Texas with a chance here with the 2 freebies to break that mark, and Henderson does on the first one as she gets it to rattle home.
Coach Mitchell says Henderson can find 10 points a game somewhere. That's what she expects out of her, and it's past time for her to become consistent, Coach Mitchell said. And when she's consistent, we're going to be much tougher to defend because Henderson can be an offensive threat off the bench. She makes both here.
Yeah, she's a sneaky 3-point shooter whenever she wants to. She becomes streaky at times, though, and really gets the majority of her production inside the 3-point arc. She's already taken 1 3 today, and then as you see, they're able to hit both free throws. Her number 1 opportunity to score is whenever she drives inside and is aggressive attacking the low block.
Freshman Deja Terrell in for the first time for North Texas and called for a foul inside trying to defend Caitlin Thomas on the play. Just the second team foul on North Texas here in the first quarter. Kuzmanik all alone on the baseline, and boy is she hot. She has 6 points already. She started 3 of 3 coming off her 35-point game, and it's a 9-point UAB spread.
And that's one of the things that UAB does so well as a basketball club is being able to spread the wealth around. It's not one particular player. Even though you have Childress as a freshman of the year last year as a great 3-point shooter, it's a multitude of individuals that are able to score and put up points here for the Blazers.
Holmes relocates, can't hit the shot. Bradley in traffic has it flicked away, and Vendrell comes out with a loose basketball.
North Texas and the fans here at the Super Pit wanting a foul. There was a lot of contact underneath, and it looked like Bradley just got caught up in the tree limbs of those UAB defenders down low.
Vendrell, jumper just above the free throw line, makes it a double-digit lead for UAB.
North Texas 0 of 5 from the field in their last 5 shots, and then UAB on the other hand answering that with 3 of their last 3 going in. And so North Texas, as this first quarter starts to wind down, they're going to have to put something on the board and find the bottom of the net.
Henderson given some room on her drive. Henderson able to find the hole.
That's what I talked about earlier. She is more successful when she's able to dribble down low, attack very aggressively, especially against this man-to-man, and then whenever UAB goes into the zone, that's when maybe she can pull up from a shot.
Barnes guarded by the bigger Holmes. Barnes fakes a handoff, and that's a foul that North Texas had to give, although Brittany Smith, it wasn't on her. That's the second on Smith.
It'll reset things here with 7 seconds remaining on the clock. North Texas finally able to break that streak of 0 for 5.
Here's UAB's depth. They go 4 for 4 in the substitution there.
Not going to have any drop-off whatsoever.
Singleton into the game at the point guard spot. Sets up Vendrell out of the corner. Holds the follow through but can't hit the 3. It stays with UAB with 0.1 on the clock. Not enough time to muscle up a shot with the Blazers leading by 9.
And if you're Coach Randy Norton, that's a shot that you will take every single time.
Singleton, the senior, throws it into Rawls, but she's not allowed.
It's sharing the wealth that really brings success from this UAB squad. Barnes doesn't even have a bucket yet, but she's been able to facilitate a couple different times, get a rebound, even though she's the smallest player on the floor. So North Texas has to try and slow down the sharing that UAB has been able to have throughout the first quarter.
Adriana Henderson on her way to the hole, tries to throw it out left and overshoots her intended recipient in Terriel Bradley to give it back to UAB. North Texas has given it away 6 times already, and that's not normal for the Mean Green.
Now, usually very disciplined, taking care of the basketball. UAB's done a great job of closing off some of those passing lanes, and then on that one specifically, Henderson trying to use that baseline and try and cut off her defender, and in one motion trying to shove the ball toward the top of the perimeter, but just a nice job by UAB keeping North Texas off balance on that end of the floor.
Vendrell challenged to shoot, doesn't pull the trigger with 5 to shoot. Barnes tries a 3, but it comes up strong with 1 on the shot clock. The layup goes down, and there's a foul too on Terriel Bradley. Vendrell says, look what I found, and a possible 3-point play.
Yeah, Bradley was down there trying to fight for the rebound. Vendrell beat her to it, had better position underneath, just had to take a couple steps back, and You can see there, took some contact to the dome, sending Vendrell to the free throw line, and a chance here for UAB to grow their lead.
Frustrating start for North Texas at home as Vendrell misses hard off the heel. Lauren Holmes, a great rebounding guard for North Texas, brings in the board. Karina Mims keeps the pivot foot on the ground, trying to set up one of the best players in the conference, Terriel Bradley. She is not on so far tonight. Loose ball foul goes on Michaela Buckner to give it back to UAB.
Yeah, and that might be the most impressive thing that UAB has done tonight. They've held Terriel Bradley scoreless throughout the game. Bradley had 21 points in that matchup back on January 20th, and tonight she has not been able to drop anything. 0 of 6 from the field. She does have 3 rebounds, but she's also turned it over twice. So back and forth game, an unusual game for Terriel Bradley.
Childress decides to drive. Fadeaway shot is strong, but it falls right to Rawls for the bucket.
The rebounds tied up at 11, but in terms of the rebounds that have set up scoring on second chance points, it's been all UAB so far.
Rawls in the top 10 in the conference in rebounding, and she doesn't even play 20 minutes a game as Holmes misses on a 3. Barnes with the speed, and she finds Vendrell. North Texas needs a timeout as assist, and UAB goes up 27-12 on North Texas. Jaylee Mitchell badly needed a timeout to regroup.
Yeah, definitely. So UAB was doing everything right defensively off the boards and then also executing on the offensive side of the floor. North Texas really needs to reel this one back in or it could get ugly very quickly for the Blazers here.
I'm John Little, he's Kyle Yeomans, and it's been consecutive games now, 3 straight games where North Texas has gotten off to very slow starts as Mims misses everything and Buckner can't corral the rebound to give it back to UAB.
Yeah, 2 games ago against Old Dominion, North Texas had to come from behind 18 points at one point in that game to win it on the road at Old Dominion. And then against Marshall, they trailed by 16 in the third quarter and ended up losing that game despite a comeback effort. But this is a better team in UAB, my goodness.
And Cara Rawls challenged to shoot the shot. She knocks it down. She's a drop step artist. She likes the hook shot, but the face-up jumper there is what puts UAB up by 17 already.
Such a physical presence, but showing off the shot as well.
Terriel Bradley's first 2 after Deanna Kuzmanik lost her feet.
There's Bradley's first bucket of the night. She was 0 of 6 before then. Finally getting on the board, and maybe North Texas can get some momentum back on Terriel Bradley's side.
Childress behind a Rawls screen. Quick trigger 3, just a little bit off. The North Texas guards rebound well. Bradley trying to get her team started. Hasn't attempted a 3 yet tonight, and the second leading 3-point shooter in the conference. The leader is Rachel Childress, who has knocked down a couple. There's Grace Goodhart. It won't count because of a moving screen.
And that's unfortunate. North Texas looked like they had a little extra pep in the step after the timeout, like the moves that what Jaylee Mitchell may have talked about in that timeout huddle, and then coming back down the floor, an opportunity for Grace Goodhart to knock down a 3, and it just gets wiped straight off the board. Buckner called for the foul.
Nice job by Kuzmanik to sell it, but it didn't take much. Buckner has some height on her, and that chest went right into the face. But a bad pass out top. Maya Barnes throws it away. And North Texas trying to come up with a little bit of a run to keep this one manageable in the first half. Mims, a high arcing shot with the right hand. Love that teardrop.
That's a go-to shot for Mims, and if you don't get an open shot, make one, and that's exactly what Mims was able to do. Got the contact off the body and then floating that one up and in. 5 straight points for North Texas.
Nice position by Thomas, but she comes up a little bit short inside. North Texas has it down to a 13-point game. A few minutes ago, it was a 17-point margin. As Henderson has the step, but Vendrell so long swats it away.
So much length on this UAB squad, and Vendrell able to just go over the top for the block.
See how UAB always looking for a three early in transition. Thomas has way too much position against Poland and makes it a 15-point lead again.
Great move from Thomas underneath, putting Poland on skates underneath the hoop, and had a wide open look, just had to kiss it off the glass.
Coaches say do your work early, and Thomas did her work early there. But she's maybe the most physical, tough presence to keep out of the paint in this league. Henderson off the back of the rim, and Kuzmanic starts the break for UAB. Mean Green with some good transition defense, a little bit too strong on that pass. Childress had a good idea, but Thomas couldn't bring it in.
Yeah, it looked like there may have been a little bit of a push there from Jada Poland underneath that kind of forced that pass off from Thomas, but Thomas going back down the floor, calling for it the entire way. She has an outstanding confidence in what she's able to do against these North Texas bigs. 6 points already in the game to go along with her 22 from the first matchup between the two teams.
Thomas comes out, and now Amani Johnson is in. She's guarding Terriel Bradley on this drive to the hoop, and Bradley fouled on the floor. Just the first team foul here in the second quarter on UAB.
And Terriel Bradley in the first matchup between UAB and North Texas was able to get the majority, not the majority, but a decent amount of her scoring. 8 points out of her 9 free throw shots. And just the fact that that's the first team foul affects the game early on here in this second quarter.
Terrell in trouble inside the lane, and UAB takes it back on a tie ball. And on North Texas, that will be turnover number 8 tonight. Those are mounting against an active UAB defense.
So aggressive, this man-to-man, and North Texas just unable to find some open passing lanes. UAB's just been so athletic.
That's a travel coming out of the corner. Kirstein, the freshman for UAB. She's a future prospect for the Blazers, but Mean Green forced a travel on her, the 5th turnover on UAB. And North Texas forces turnovers, 20 a game. That is best in Conference USA. It's 35th in the nation, and their turnover margin is sparkling. That's how North Texas normally stays in games. But tonight, they're down by 3 in the turnover category.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why they are the top scoring defense in the entire Conference USA. But once again, this UAB squad's just so disciplined. Don't turn it over a whole lot. Great offensive rebound.
Nice job by Henderson to re-enter the lane. That is creative after the offensive rebound.
Henderson's turned it up a notch. She now has 6 points, ending a scoreless drought of almost 2.5 minutes for North Texas, but a great bucket there.
Kuzmanic open. Can't hit the shot. Mean Green have a chance to cut it down to 10 if they can find a 3. Bradley, though, takes it to the cup. There's a foul. It's offensive. Bradley has picked up her second. That's 3 Mean Green starters with 2 fouls apiece. Terriel Bradley is the latest to be saddled with a pair.
That's a great play by Rawls. She left her assignment early on, stepped over, saw that she needed some help. And that's by Johnson, underneath, but just a nice job by Johnson to be able to step on over and then draw the foul. An outstanding play there from UAB.
So North Texas has to play the remainder of the first half without their leading scorer. Kuzmanic driving in on Goodhart. Little reverse pivot fadeaway does not go, and UAB starting to come up with a little bit of a dry spell here. Henderson pushes the issue. May have had Deja Terrell, but didn't feed it to her early enough.
And even though UAB has kind of cooled off from the field, North Texas hasn't been able to take advantage of it. Only 6 points here in the quarter. They've been able to close that deficit at least since the start of the second, but not a whole lot of success.
Terrell banks one in.
Well, there you go. That's how you get it done. Do it from 17 feet out, and if you can bank it off the glass, even the better.
Did you see her face after she made that shot? Like, all right, that works. Kuzmanic goes back door.
Oh,
nice
man.
open play. Cara Rawls lays it in.
That's a beautiful feed from Kuzmanic, weaving through a couple different trees down low, off the ground, and straight into the hands of Rawls. Wow.
Well, Kuzmanic played point guard in high school and in AAU. And she's got a 2.4 assist to turnover ratio right at the top of the league this year. As Mims is fouled on a little reach in. Only the second team foul on UAB here in the second. It goes on Amani Johnson, but Kuzmanic with an excellent feed.
Yeah, underneath was outstanding, and then There you look at the foul, just kind of reaching in a little bit too much there for Johnson, and getting a little bit of the arm from Mims there.
North Texas, once down by 17, continues to try to fight back. Terrell finds Lauren Holmes. Holmes has resurrected her game a little bit, and she's bottoms on that three.
You can talk about the resurrection of the game, but how about the confidence from Lauren Holmes stepping up from almost NBA range in a timeout called, or no, that's a foul on the other end. Offensive foul, giving it back to the UNT.
Caitlin Thomas pushing away Deja Terrell. So North Texas makes their first three of the night. Back to a 10-point game. If you're on the side of the Mean Green, where do you want this game going to halftime? You have 2 minutes left in the first half. What do you think is manageable?
Well, definitely in single digits for sure. This is a team that's shown that they can come back, but I think more importantly, you want to just show that you can make some shots, and they've done that 3 out of their last 3. You saw the graphic at the bottom of your screen just a second ago, but showing right at the end of this first half, if they can have some success, have some confidence going into the halftime break, gives Jaylee Mitchell a lot more to work with.
Mims a tough shot. Holmes grabs the rebound and is fouled going back up. Great position on the offside by Lauren Holmes. Maya Barnes whistled for the foul.
Let's see what Holmes is able to do here from the free throw line. Usually an 80% free throw shooter on the season, missed 4 free throws right at the end of that game, or not 4 free throws, 3 free throws the other day against Marshall in those last couple of minutes. Crucial moments, but Holmes able to convert here.
Holmes out of Fayetteville, Arkansas. It's pretty much down to Louisiana Tech or North Texas for her, and she chose the Mean Green. Great track athlete, probably a better track athlete than a basketball player, but she hates track. You know, she kind of says that jokingly. She hates running, and so she decided to go the basketball route in college.
And we talked about the block that she had against Marshall the other day, a highlight reel play from the freshman, and she's definitely a future prospect and a future of this North Texas team.
And again on a rub inside, Terrell is not down. And again, it's a foul on Caitlin Thomas, who's incredulous.
Yeah, Thomas can't believe it. She's going to take a seat and kind of looked over to Coach Randy Norton on the bench and just asking, well, what did I do wrong? You can see it looked like maybe Terrell just kind of got tangled up in between Vendrell and Thomas and just hit the floor.
Mean Green were down by 17. North Texas on a little run to creep back into the game. Thanks to turnovers by UAB, 4 in the last 4 minutes. Late in the shot clock here for North Texas. Grace Goodhart hands it off. Holmes with the push. Off the back of the rim, it doesn't go down, but Henderson's there for the board, but she had to go through the 6'2" Vendrell, who has another block.
Yeah, a lot of contact there. North Texas fans and the faithful here in the Super Pit wanted another foul called, and UAB's going to get a call underneath their own hoop, this time on Terrell.
Terrell knew she was beat on the play, and she said, all right, I'm going to have to block this thing.
Yeah, just kind of a desperation heave there, trying to make up some lost ground against Rawls, who's just so quick inside. The post move is definitely Rawls' go-to.
Probably a smart foul. Rawls not the best free throw shooter, tick under 60%. So UAB leads it by 8. Once leading by 17 on the Mean Green.
Yeah, North Texas has done an outstanding job just battling back. This is a gritty quarter from North Texas. Shots haven't necessarily been going in. You're only 31% from the field throughout the game itself, and you finally made a three-pointer. That's about it from that sort of perspective, but defensively you've had some calls go your way, had some calls not go your way. You've been able to just kind of fight your way back and outscoring UAB by 1 here.
I think some extra time ran off the clock. It looked like maybe 2 seconds extra ran off the clock, and the officials are looking at that as Terrell went for the block from behind. Yeah, but you're exactly right, and it's with kind of a secondary unit for North Texas with 3 starters in foul trouble. And unless they're taking a look at the foul and a possible hit to the head of Rawls, I think it's a time issue here, as the clock did keep running. I think there should be about 42 seconds or so left in the first half after that foul.
That definitely helps out North Texas here. If they can potentially get a miss or two here from Rawls, get a rebound in their favor, and then try and convert from a 2-for-1 with 40 seconds left on the clock. It's got to be a quick 2-for-1, but at the same time, you got to really get that back down the floor pretty quickly.
I don't think you see enough college coaches go for the 2-for-1. You know, it doesn't happen a lot at the end of a half or a quarter, and there are more chances to do that here in the women's game now that you've gone 2 quarters.
Yeah.
So they set the clock up to 42.1, an extra second and a half. So Cara Rawls to the line. Just a great senior leader for the Blazers, who misses on the first foul shot.
Keeps the UAB scoring drought over 2 minutes. That's that North Texas nationally ranked defense stepping up in an opportunity whenever UAB's not shooting quite well from the field.
Rawls does make the second foul shot. Randy Norton calls Rawls the mother hen on the team. A fifth-year senior means a lot to her. It's been a great year for UAB. Leading by 9 at North Texas. The 2-for-1 is about to go by the wayside right now. And so North Texas plays for a single shot on this possession. Is Trina Mims, the freshman point guard, trying to run the offense. Around a screen by Poland. Hesitation. Again blocked, out of bounds with 4 to shoot. Again, it's Angela Vendrell who has been all over the floor as far as blocks. That's the 7th block by UAB in the first half. That's a lot.
Yeah, that is a ton of action underneath, and that you got to contribute that to the length of the Blazers. They've utilized it so far. It's going to force a turnover. No, it's not.
Only 4 to shoot. Lauren Holmes knows it, but she lost possession. And UAB will have the final shot in the first half and an opportunity to retake a double-digit lead.
UAB unable to score a field goal in the last 2.5 minutes of game action. So a couple seconds left on the clock. UAB looking for some momentum heading into the break.
Senior backup point guard Whitney Singleton. Out to Childress, who's come back in. Childress, a contested deep 2, and it's no good. Vendrell still had it in her hands at the end of the half.
At the bottom of your screen, 7 blocks from UAB, and 6 of those have come from Angela Vendrell. She has been outstanding underneath, using every single inch of her 6'2" frame to deny North Texas on the low block, and that's one of the big reasons why UAB is up by 9 here.
She's on a triple-double pace. It's something to watch. Now, North Texas, once down by 17, cut it down to as few as 8, and using a lot of the shot clock here at the start of the second half. Vendrell gets into the back of Michaela Buckner for a foul.
Well, with North Texas, whenever they're able to get the other team in foul trouble, they're going to have more success. And no matter if it's on the floor or on the shot, North Texas is able to reset, and coming out of that inbounds on the baseline, that's one of the big reasons why Bradley's able to get open from the perimeter. They're unable to do so, at least initially here.
More work for Buckner. This time a twirling hook shot over Rawls to make it a 7-point game, closest it's been in quite a while.
That's a great move by Buckner. She's been out physical throughout the entirety of the first half with Rawls down low. Just a nice finesse move there to hook that one home.
Look at the sharing of the basketball by UAB. They don't come up with a shot, but they just have such great awareness of where the passes go. And then Childress hits a shot like that.
Childress, there is no amount of space that scares Childress. It doesn't matter if the defender's right on her hip. Doesn't matter if she's right in front. That time, she was able to just kind of sneak away. All she needed was a slight window and able to knock it down. An unbelievable shot there from Rachel Childress.
Leads the conference in threes per game and also in three-point percentage. Terrielle Bradley splitting defenders.
Bradley with only 2 points in that first half now has her first bucket of the second half. And if North Texas is going to hope to come back and beat the number 2 team in the conference right now with the Blazers, they're going to need Bradley to take over.
Rawls thought Childress was going up for a shot there, and the ball ricochets right past her and out of bounds. You're exactly right about Terrielle Bradley. She's double figures in every conference game this year. She's been just marvelous, and everybody's due for an off game every once in a while, but the Mean Green can't win without Terrielle Bradley being at least good.
And they've been able to have some extra addition with Henderson, 6 points, Buckner with 6, and then Mims and Smith scoring as well. But if they're going to win, they're going to need Bradley at her best.
Goodhart was in rhythm. Buckner's follow shot doesn't go down. And the rebound goes out, last touched by North Texas.
Like exactly what North Texas is doing here off of those shots that are able to clank off the iron. They're crashing. There are multiple white jerseys in the paint trying to get a rebound there. Something I didn't see necessarily in the first half despite their lead in that category. A nice job being aggressive on the board so far.
Tell you, nice job by Buckner staying in front of the very speedy Barnes. But Childress down to the right elbow to make it a 10-point game again.
And just able to pull up, tap the brakes, or just throw on the brakes. Right at that elbow, lost Smith in the process and had a wide open jumper.
Terrio Bradley gets lost for three. Misses on her first three-point attempt, and it stays with North Texas on a team rebound.
Back up to a double-digit lead for UAB, though. You have North Texas leading for the majority of that, or having an advantage in that second quarter alone, and then UAB hit a free throw late to tie it up at 13, at least in that second period. North Texas is going to need this third quarter to really be something special.
It's a charge. Cara Rawls takes her 19th charge this season, and UAB has it back.
Wow. Just got that foot down in time. It was close, could have gone either way, and I think that's why the official took so long to actually give the motion of an offensive foul. It was close, but I think that's a great call. I think Rawls got down just in time in order to draw the charge.
I think all three officials had a foul, but they deferred to the lead official tonight, Marcus Clayton. Said we're going the other way. Wide open look for Kuzmanik, but she comes up a little bit short. Buckner controlling the boards for North Texas.
Buckner's been outstanding on the low block. 5 rebounds throughout the contest so far.
Bradley wants this one. Could not knock it down, and Vendrell is fouled in the backcourt by Adriana Henderson.
Both teams with a couple of big looks early here from the perimeter. 2 wide open looks. That one for Terrell Bradley really had an opportunity for North Texas to get some momentum back on their side.
Maya Barnes tried to give it to Thomas, but she flicks it away. North Texas in transition. Henderson called for the walk.
Good call on the far side. Henderson did pick it up.
Adriana Henderson struggled with turnovers early this season, but in this stretch where she's been so good for the Mean Green, started with that 16-point game against UTSA, a career high. She really cut down on her turnovers, but one here gives it back to UAB. Maya Barnes working the pick and roll. Now Vendrell feeds Thomas. Kuzmanik covered up. Finds Vendrell, only a 15% three-point shooter. Childress underneath, reverse layup doesn't go, but Thomas has the offensive rebound. Skips it out, and Kuzmanik late in the shot clock can't hit the three.
That's great defense from North Texas. As soon as UAB got their palms on the basketball, there were 4 or 5 white jerseys on another UAB defender. It made the passing so much harder, and it ended up forcing the shot clock violation, and North Texas able to get the ball back.
North Texas 0 for their last 4. Good hesitation by Mims. Maybe took some contact as she laid that one in.
North Texas still only shooting 33% from the field. They're going to have to get that statistic to rise quite a bit. They're going to match the 48% from UAB.
Thomas doubled on. Kuzmanik feeds Vendrell. Nice pass down to Thomas for the score.
How about nice passes? Man, the ball movement in this third quarter, the first 5 minutes out of the break have just been off the charts from UAB. So much ball movement and so confident in their passes, and it's really thrown this North Texas defense for a loop.
Unselfish. The closest team to the Warriors, I think, in women's basketball in Conference USA. You never know who's going to take the shot. Trina Mims will here. Couldn't hit it. Keeps it alive. It's on the ground. Tied up. Back to UAB. So UAB goes back up by double digits as North Texas tries to come outside, but North Texas having a porous night from outside.
Yeah, 1 for 7 from beyond the arc for North Texas, and then it doesn't get much better from a UAB perspective, and that might be exactly why UAB's only up by 10 with North Texas 32% from the field, UAB 50% from the field on the game, but those threes have not been falling.
Holmes with the block, and North Texas tries to break out. Trina Mims surprises Holmes with the basketball, and North Texas has to settle into the half-court offense. They don't have any points in transition tonight. Terrielle Bradley fouled as she goes up, and Bradley heads to the line for the first time tonight.
That's a surprising stat as well. Only 4 points in transition for UAB. North Texas and the Blazers doing a good job getting back on defense, and that was a big reason why Bradley ended up in free throws, is just because they didn't force a shot from the field until later on in the possession.
That make for Bradley is her 14th in a row, and she's been great at the line this season. A team record for a single season, 141 made free throws.
And one of the most clutch free throw shooters in all of Conference USA. If it gets in the crunch time, number 23 in white is who you want on the free throw line if you're Coach Jaylee Mitchell.
And almost a shoe-in for Conference USA first team. She'll be the first player for North Texas as a first-team member of an all-conference team since 2003. It's been quite a drought. 8-point game. Leah Kirstein in the game at an off-guard spot for UAB. Feeds Kuzmanik, finds Maya Barnes. Barnes has not shot a lot tonight, but she drops that one in.
UAB has had an answer for everything that North Texas has put up on the board ever since North Texas went on that little run in the third quarter. Like you said, coming out of the break, keeping them at arm's length is exactly what they've been able to do.
A lot of time to go. But UAB is still leading by double figures as Terrielle Bradley tries to drive in, but Vendrell is so long at 6'2", she alters the shot. Barnes, a great shooter from outside, and she buries one. UAB's top 4 shooters from deep all score it at 40% or better from outside. 13-point lead for UAB.
Man, they can shoot from anywhere on the floor, and having Barnes wide open in transition, that's exactly what Coach Norton wants. They want to move quickly in transition. They want to dish it out to an open shooter and then take advantage from there, and that's exactly what Barnes was able to do to put UAB back up by 13.
You want to know why Angela Vendrell plays so much, and she only averages 4 points a game. It's plays like that, a cross-court pass. She anticipates. Just a game-changing defender for UAB. That's exactly what she's been tonight.
Yeah, with 6 blocks as well. Not too shabby from a post player down low. Also play the guard spot as well.
Bradley late in the shot clock, rolls one down.
After taking an ill-advised shot the last time up, Bradley on the run, able to put that one home. Shows the confidence from Bradley. You miss one, you get one back.
Kuzmanik drives to the bucket. And everybody can distribute for UAB. That time it's Rawls with the dime.
Like we talked about, that ball movement and the fast pace from the Blazers is exactly what they want to see from a coaching staff perspective. Nice job getting back, forcing North Texas into a set.
Holmes pushing one up, strong. Another rebound for Rawls for UAB.
UAB now over 50% shooting.
Holmes with a surprising steal, taking it right out of the hands of Barnes. She had no idea that the freshman was there. Buckner, a shoulder shake, but comes up a little bit short, and Rawls grabs it away again. She's frustrated that North Texas is allowed to try to get her from behind like that. As Holmes tries to back tap another one, it's out of bounds to UAB.
North Texas staying aggressive on the defensive end, especially in transition. If they're saying if UAB is going to run with it, we're going to send our track star behind her to try and come and poke it out. And it's been successful a couple different times, but it also opens up an opportunity for a shot.
Kirstein wide open for 3, but misses long. And North Texas trying to cut it down. It was a 9-point game at halftime. Early in the third quarter, they made it 7. That's as close as it's been since the first quarter. Mims feeds Terrielle, right back to Mims. Couple freshmen playing the 2-man game. And a carry called on the mean green.
I like the idea underneath by North Texas and the touch pass from Terrielle, trying to get it back out to Mims, keep that defender off balance on the outside part of the perimeter, and being able to maybe try and find an open shooter. North Texas still only with that one field goal from beyond the arc. They've just not had any open shots.
Childress takes Goodhart down in the post. A repost. And blocked going up by Goodhart.
That's great defense there from Grace Goodhart. Able to post up and hold your own. 2 guards underneath on the low block. You don't see that a ton here in the Conference USA, but just a nice job going back and forth.
North Texas was calling for patience on offense tonight. I think they've done that as Bradley makes one go, plus a foul on Amani Johnson. You know, I think most of the night North Texas has been patient offensively. They've tried to make UAB work, but they just have not been successful when the ball's gone up.
Yeah, and UAB's just been able to kind of rotate better on the defensive end than North Texas has on their side. And that's a big reason why Bradley was held to such a low total in that first half. But now as Bradley starts getting a little bit more confident, maybe a little bit more desperate, trying to get inside, be more aggressive, it opens up a chance for fouls like that and for Bradley to get back into double digits where she's at currently.
Foul on Rawls, 2-4 rather than Johnson, 3-4. With under a minute left to play in the third quarter, North Texas hanging around after the three-point play. Maya Barnes at the hole, misses, but Rawls has the offensive board. Ball tipped away by Bradley, but a new shot clock for UAB, and the game clock to shot clock difference here is negligible. Blazers can almost hold for a final shot, and I think that's what Randy Norton wants to do.
Yeah, they're going to have to get it up late, but regardless of whenever they put it up here, North Texas is probably not going to have enough time to get a shot off.
Barnes, the hesitation, and a foul, offensive.
There's a break for North Texas, 5.8 ticks remaining. That's enough for a couple of dribbles. As you see it again here, just a great job coming over by Holmes, getting set and taking the contact from Barnes. Nice sell there from Holmes as well.
They've changed it.
Wow.
They've changed it. Holmes may have been in the restricted area.
That may be the case.
But it was a definite change because it was going the way
you're exactly
of North
right.
Texas at first.
No, we saw it the right way, John. Don't worry about it. But I think you're right. I think they looked at it again. I think Holmes was in the restricted area, and that's really the biggest reason why they switched it around here. A big break for UAB, though. Wow.
A huge flip in momentum because North Texas can get it down under 10 instead of great free throw shooter Maya Barnes, third in the league at 84%, has a chance to stretch it to a dozen. Exactly what she does. We're still giving Barnes just a little bit of rest at the end of the quarter as Singleton comes on.
Still enough time for a couple dribbles here from North Texas. Got to find an open lane.
Hand off to Goodhart, but she's blocked by Singleton, and Terrell can't put it. Kyle, what do you think the keys are heading to the fourth quarter here? First of all, for North Texas, as they try to come back from a dozen down.
Well, North Texas has just not been able to figure out the man-to-man from UAB so far. 32%. They were 1 from 8 from the three-point line. So if North Texas is going to get back in this game, they're going to have to be not only efficient and aggressive, but they're going to have to just find some open shots and knock them down.
A late feed by Mims is stolen by UAB. Bradley there on Rawls' catch. Extra pass to Barnes. Rawls settles on a deep jumper and nails it. The senior coming up with a nice game on the road with 9 points.
Definitely not afraid to drop back and take a shot like that. That's her second one off of the jumper tonight.
Bradley trying to get going, but just a little bit off. The ball ricochets around. Mims steals it away for North Texas and saves the possession. North Texas ball down by 14. Terrell Bradley, who's led North Texas with 11. Another double-digit game, her 15th straight. Bradley receives it back out front, but she hasn't hit a three yet tonight.
And something that UAB has done a great job on the man-to-man. The switches have been there. It looks like they've gone back to a zone here.
That's a blocking foul this time. And they're going to try to see if the bucket should count or not. Count the bucket for Brittany Smith, who threw it up in desperation as she tumbled over the top of Rawls.
Wow. A late call. The officials had to talk about it, and a desperation heave from Smith going down. That's the type of break that North Texas has needed really all night long. They have not seen it up until that point, but she misses the free throw. Bradley trying to get it back.
It's the first free throw miss for North Texas, but it stays with the mean green as it was tapped out to the corner by the UAB Blazers. UAB going after their 10th win on the road this season and trying to go to 7-0 in conference play on the road. That's just unheard of.
Unreal progression from this UAB program. Going to be dangerous for a couple years as well. Still a young squad.
UAB was guarding the pick and roll pretty well. Smith ends up on the ground, misses the shot with no whistle. Long pass to Vendrell. They didn't find her in transition, and UAB retakes a 14-point lead.
Right now, UAB leading the assist category between the two teams 12-4. They've just been able to pass the ball more efficiently than North Texas, and another turnover.
Vendrell knocking it out of the hands of Bradley. I don't know if she'll get credit for the steal, but she should. And Vendrell underneath has her first double-digit game during conference play as she has 10.
Wow, she has been on fire tonight. 10 points, 10 rebounds, or no, 6 rebounds, excuse me, and 6 blocks. She has had herself a night.
And they give Vendrell another block there.
Wow. Keep just tacking it on if you're Vendrell. Was that triple-double pace by the time of the halftime break, and now into the fourth quarter. Not necessarily on that same pace, but still putting up great numbers.
10 points, 6 rebounds, 7 blocks for Vendrell tonight. As UAB looks for the season sweep on North Texas. Bradley goes on the jump stop. She's fouled. Vendrell called for it.
Heading into this season, North Texas led that all-time season series by a total of 6-1, winning the last 3. And then, of course, we talked about at the top of the broadcast with UAB winning that first matchup in Birmingham quite handily, and now continuing to pull away here. North Texas running out of time.
UAB just a surging team as Buckner misses inside. They're so young, starting 3 sophomores, but they are so good at 22-5. Postseason trip, whether it be NIT or NCAA tournament, is on the way for UAB this season as Barnes is left alone.
You cannot leave any green jerseys open from beyond the arc. Doesn't matter what type of range it is from. And man, Barnes has just been on fire again. She's got 10 points. 8 of those 10 have come in the second half.
It's the largest lead for UAB. North Texas looks for some sort of success. Buckner's goes right back at her, but Mims grabs the offensive rebound. Henderson goes on a drive this time, cups at the hole, and breaks a scoring run, a 7-0 run for UAB.
Henderson's been great for Jaylee Mitchell's squad. Now she has 8 points and 4 rebounds. She's been much more crafty and aggressive when attacking the cup.
Vendrell, the extra pass out to Barnes. Barnes against the shot blocker. What a pass to Rawls for 2.
My goodness, it gets more and more creative from us tonight against UTEP. That game starting at 8 o'clock Central Time. North Texas would clinch a spot in the Conference USA tournament for the 2nd year in a row, and North Texas could really use some help because right now things on the floor aren't going very well. If you talk about last weekend and this game tonight, but that was a great move from Smith underneath.
Slashing past Kuzmanik for 2, and desperation time for North Texas, down by 19. One thing the Mean Green have not done this season is give up in any circumstance. They've rarely been blown out big.
One of the best come from behind teams in the entire conference, and the only reason that they haven't been able to complete the comeback, at one point they were down by 17, got it back within 7, and continuing to fight here, like you said, not until that final whistle, but UAB's just been so disciplined, and I feel like that's been a story so far this season for the Blazers, and it's a reason why they are 22-5 heading into tonight.
Well, North Texas shooting only 32%. The UAB defense is unheralded because everybody talks about their offense. Everybody talks about their three-point shooting. But remember, they also lead the conference in opponents' field goal percentage as Thomas is hacked inside. Buckner just had enough.
Just a little bit of a frustration foul from Buckner, kind of cut off the arms of Thomas and went down on that one. But you look at the discipline from UAB, you have to look back and credit Randy Norton and what he's been able to do in his 5 seasons in Birmingham. And tonight, whether it's assist, which right now UAB leads that category 14-4 in terms of rebounding. They're right even, but defensive rebounds have definitely been in favor of UAB. Whenever they force a bad shot from North Texas, they clean it up quickly and they get it back down the floor and quickly in transition.
A little over 5 minutes left, and thanks to the 1 of 2 trip, North Texas down by 18 to UAB. Blazers close in on their 12th Conference USA win. They have lost 2 out of their last 3. They were really in control of the conference at one point, especially after that Western Kentucky win early in the season. They've got that head-to-head matchup win over Western. Bradley's just a little bit off. Only 4 of 15 tonight from the floor for Terriel Bradley. Childress found in transition, hard off the heel. Love that skip pass by Maya Barnes. She knows how to play the angles. As Smith won't let North Texas go quietly.
Yeah, Smith with 4 quick points, doubling her total from the first half in just about the last 90 seconds or so. Like you said, North Texas not going away. It might be a little bit too little too late, but overall this Mean Green team showing some fight, and they've got another tough matchup on the horizon Saturday against Rice on the road. And another turnover here from Smith.
See what Smith can do in the open floor. Finds Holmes. Back to Henderson. North Texas settling into the half court. Smith has done a lot of the work offensively here in the 4th quarter, as she has 6 of the North Texas points in the 4th. Smith is fouled by Thomas out front. That's team foul number 3 on UAB. Yeah, you're exactly right, Kyle, with that big matchup against Rice, the rematch after the 1-point loss early in the season. You know, North Texas had a tough close to the year as far as their schedule went. UAB, then Rice. Jaylee Mitchell wanted her team to show they were ready for the conference tournament, because you got to beat some of those teams in order to win the CUSA tournament in Frisco.
And as of right now, I mean, if North Texas is able to get that first round
score, who to guard, because they're so unselfish.
Yeah, and with just under 4 minutes remaining, there's a very realistic chance that there could be 6 Blazers in double digits by the end of this one, and running an 8-girl rotation throughout the majority of the ball game. That's an outstanding mark from UAB.
Henderson slapping at Kuzmanik. Kuzmanik coming off that 35-point game on UAB's senior night. But Kuzmanik will be back for a senior season. Rawls blocked inside, but regains it. And she's fouled going up. Cara Rawls having one of her best games of recent. 11 points on 5 of 7 shooting.
That's got to be frustrating from Terriel Bradley. Got behind Rawls, was able to knock that one away before really she was able to go up with it. But because there was a little bit of collision, the ball stayed in bounds, and Rawls was able to just pick it back up and get fouled on her way back up to the hoop.
It's 12 for Carl Rawls. Rawls has really come on late this season in her senior year, having some monster rebounding games, like the 15-point, 20 rebound effort at FIU a couple weeks ago. Only the 2nd player in the league this season to have 20 rebounds in a game.
And we talked about her earlier, just such a physical presence underneath, and the combination between Rawls and Thomas is something that UAB is going to have playing in their favor for the entirety of that Conference USA tournament in Frisco.
Smith lines up a 3, but it clangs off the back of the iron. And Rawls sucks in another rebound. Maya Barnes doesn't even need to really set her body. She leans into one. And the stepsister of Jason Tatum of the Boston Celtics, Maya Barnes, knocks down the 2.
Yeah, got some family history there, of course. And Tatum, one of the fab youngsters in the entire NBA. And you can see exactly what Barnes can do as a youngster in the Conference USA.
There's a youngster that North Texas is excited about, Deja Terrell. Hits the bucket plus the foul on Rawls.
And Terrell has really, like you talked about, Rawls on the UAB side, Terrell's come alive later in the season. She's been able to kind of be more physical underneath, and that's going to be a presence that UNT is going to be able to exploit throughout the CUSA over the next couple of years.
We've got those 3 freshmen on the team that have all played gigantic Rawls this seaon, all leading the team in scoring at 1 point in a game, all scoring at least 15 points in a game. The three-pointer is too strong by Kirstein. North Texas runs down by 18. Nice find to Terrell, but she misses the shot against Kirstein. It's out off of North Texas. And that's one of the best parts of Terrell's game. She can run the floor. Yeah,
she is quick back down the floor despite the size that she has, and uses long strides in the middle of it. 6'1", being able to run back down the floor that direction. That's something that North Texas loves to see from a coaching staff perspective.
UAB trying to put an exclamation point on a road win. Childress run off the three-point line and fouled by Lauren Holmes. And Rachel Childress to the line for two. Childress hasn't had the most efficient game, 14 points, 4 of 13 shooting. But it's nice to see that she's rounding into form coming into the conference tournament, especially after only putting up about 5 points a game over her last 3.
Yeah, she's definitely one of the weapons for UAB. If they can get in transition, find her outside of the arc, and even then, if she doesn't have an open shot, if she can drive in, something we talked about how she's added to her game throughout, or from last year to this year. If you can look at maybe finding a Childress on the outside, or just feeding anybody whenever she drives in and dishes it back out, that's something that UAB can definitely utilize throughout the year, or even the next 3 years.
No doubt. Childress knocks down both foul shots. She's now 90% at the line this season. And UAB is a great free throw shooting team, great three-point shooting team, but I think their best asset with a 20-point lead here is their depth. That's what gives them a great chance to be successful in Frisco, because you got to play 3 games in 3 days in order to win the championship. And UAB is set up to be fresh on day 3.
Yeah, definitely depth and discipline. Those are two things that lead big postseason runs in college basketball. Doesn't matter if it's the men's game or the women's game. If you have some depth coming off the bench, you're at an advantage there, because there are not a whole lot of teams in those conferences, especially in the mid-majors, that have that kind of luxury to fall back on. And then if you have discipline in late game situations and even against bigger teams, you're not going to get beat by yourself. You're going to beat other teams just based off of how well you take care of the basketball and how efficient you are on both ends of the floor. And that's something UAB can definitely attest to.
Blazers able to empty the bench here. A little incidental contact out front puts Trista McGee on her seat as Terrielle Bradley picks up her 4th, and also team foul number 4 on the mean green. And UAB able to empty the bench a little bit tonight.
Going deep into that depth.
Talia Roldan is on for the first time to play the post spot for UAB, wearing number 4. Sets a screen for Singleton here.
Another thing that may be overlooked from UAB, we talk about the depth, we talk about the discipline, but it's not a whole lot of times you get to compare or add those two along with some athleticism. And this UAB team has some size and athleticism. This is a complete roster. This is a team that not only can go deep into the Conference USA tournament, but I mean, just based off of what we've seen here in their win over Western Kentucky, they're maybe the favorite to win the tournament in Frisco if they are able to combine all those things the way that they have been able to tonight.
It's very possible, and it's going to be a fun tournament to watch in Frisco. The ball's knocked away with no foul call. The tie ball keeps it with UAB. 19-point lead, and UAB had a double-digit lead in the first quarter. They settled on a 9-point lead at the end of the first, but they really haven't looked back since. They've controlled the game. North Texas got it down to 7 very early in the third quarter, but just too much of the Blazers tonight. They try to round into form here late in the season.
Yeah, UAB was able to kind of add those first blows back in that first quarter, and then really into the second. North Texas had a little bit of momentum, and UAB was able to snuff that out quickly.
The 2 players we highlighted before the game, the 2 leading scorers tonight, and their nights are done. Terrielle Bradley's going to sit down with 11 points, and one of her lowest scoring games during conference play. Offensive foul on McGee on the drive to give it back to North Texas as Smith slides over to take the charge. North Texas has brought in Oriana Shiloh at a guard spot. you get a chance to see Smith's textbook defense.
Yeah, and that's something that North Texas has working in their favor heading into the Conference USA tournament. Defense is a big thing that could really allow a team that may not be as athletic or as disciplined going into a tournament to be able to challenge. And with the loss today, and then of course with a tough matchup against Rice, there's an opportunity for North Texas to fall as far as the 11 spot at the bottom, even if both of those games don't go, or that last game doesn't go their way. But if you're North Texas, you've got to find your identity, and I feel like that identity has to be surrounded around that defense. What they're able to do defensively really allows for some potential for North Texas, even against some of the top teams in the conference. Didn't work out tonight against UAB, but you've seen tight games against Rice. That game coming down right to the wire, 50-48 was the final score in the Super Pit the first time around. Now they'll get a second chance at the Owls coming up later in the week. But North Texas defensively, if they have a great night and their identity is around that defense, they can definitely make some noise in the tournament as well.
We mentioned it early on that in the first 9 home games this season, North Texas was only giving up 45 points a game. Well, now over the last 6, it's going to be about 65 points a game. They're giving up 20 more points per game at home than they were early on this season. And that's certainly been a factor in why North Texas will fall again here at home and lose their 4th home game in their last 5. Brittany Smith with a double-figure night, her 5th double-figure game of the season as she hits 10. UAB still leading by 17. Singleton slips, Singleton's foul.
That's something encouraging from North Texas at the end of this ball game, is seeing Brittany Smith getting some of those shots to fall, some in acrobatic style, with the foul called earlier in the 4th quarter, and then a couple different opportunities just off the dribble, pulling up from distance, and Smith's been able to show off some scoring ability here.
Whitney Singleton, backup point guard for UAB. Maya Barnes has been used a lot as the starter this season, so Singleton's minutes have been brought down a little bit this year as compared to last, but great teammate for UAB and very capable of running the show for UAB if anything were to happen to Maya Barnes late this season. Officials checking the clock and putting 27 seconds on the board.
Definitely a lot of points for Jaylee Mitchell to talk about heading into that final matchup at Rice. Some things North Texas is going to have to fix, but if you're UAB, you've definitely got a lot of positive talking points for Coach Norton in the way that they're trying to close out a potential conference championship year.
And Whitney Singleton, the senior, picks it out of the air. In her senior year, UAB has gone 10-1 on the road with a win over